It began with silence. No warning. No prophecy. Just silence. Then the Force screamed. Across every era, every timeline, every moment in Star Wars history, warriors vanished. Darth Bane disappeared mid-meditation. Darth Revan was ripped from the unknown regions. Darth Vader felt his presence shift and found himself standing on an alien world. Emperor Palpatine, mid-manipulation, simply stopped existing in his timeline. And the Jedi felt it too. Yoda was pulled from the Clone Wars. Mace Windu from Geonosis. Obi-Wan Kenobi from Tatooine. Luke Skywalker from the Battle of Endor. Legends rose from death itself. Exar Kun, dead for 4,000 years, materialized with spirit flames still burning. Freeden Nad's ghost solidified into flesh. Darth Malgus, Darth Nihilus, Darth Sion, every Sith who had ever drawn breath or defied death appeared. And the Jedi matched them. Bastila Shan stood beside Nomi Sunrider. Satele Shan joined Qui-Gon Jinn. Master Fei, Plo Koon, Kit Fisto, every Jedi Master who had ever wielded a lightsaber or mastered the Force stood. They all appeared on the same world. Malachor V. The dead planet reborn by the Force itself, now a massive battlefield stretching for hundreds of miles. Mountains of obsidian. Rivers of lava. Skies crackling with unnatural lightning. And in the center, two armies. On one side, every Sith Lord. Thousands of them. Red lightsabers igniting like a crimson dawn. Dark side energy so thick it warped the air. On the other, every Jedi Master. Thousands more. Blue, green, purple blades humming in harmony. Light side radiance pushing back the darkness. No one spoke. No one knew why they were here. But they felt it. This was the end. The final battle. Light versus dark for eternity. Darth Bane stepped forward, voice cold, commanding. "What is this?" Yoda answered from the Jedi side, calm, ancient, unwavering. A test, this is, of balance, of purpose. The Force itself whispered to every warrior present. Only one side will leave. And the battle for the soul of the galaxy began. Darth Vader stared across the field and saw Obi-Wan Kenobi, his old master, alive, young, whole. "Kenobi," Vader rasped. Obi-Wan's eyes widened. "Anakin?" But there was no time for reunion. Because beside Vader stood legends Anakin had only read about. Darth Revan masked, armored, radiating both light and dark. Darth Bane, the creator of the Rule of Two, towering and ancient. Darth Malgus, a warlord who'd burned the Jedi Temple itself. Exar Kun's spirit made flesh, eyes burning with Sith fire. And more, hundreds more. Darth Sidious appeared among them, smiling, calculating. How delightful. But Darth Bane turned to him cold. "You do not command here, Sidious. We are equals in this." Sidious's smile faltered. On the Jedi side, Yoda stood at the front. Beside him, Mace Windu, lightsaber ready. Luke Skywalker, older and wiser than when he'd left Endor. Obi-Wan Kenobi, still processing that Vader was here. And behind them, legends. Bastila Shan, battle meditation, ready to inspire thousands. Nomi Sunrider, the Jedi who'd ended the Great Sith War. Satele Shan, Grandmaster of the Old Republic. Master Fei, who'd lived for centuries. Every Jedi Council member from every era. Every knight who'd earned their place. "Stay together," Yoda commanded. "United, we must be. Divided, the Sith are." Luke stepped forward. "Master Yoda, what is this? Why are we here?" Yoda's voice was heavy. "A test the Force has given, to see if balance possible is, or if only one side can remain." Mace Windu's jaw tightened. "Then we end the Sith here. Now. Forever." But across the field, Darth Bane raised his voice. "Sith Lords, this is our moment. The Jedi have gathered every weakness, every failure in one place. We destroy them and claim the Force as ours alone." The Sith roared. The Jedi ignited their lightsabers. And Malachor V, the dead world reborn, trembled as thousands of warriors charged. Light met dark, and the galaxy itself held its breath. The first clash was apocalyptic. Thousands of lightsabers, red against blue, green, purple, met in a wave of plasma and fury. Darth Malgus charged into the Jedi lines, crushing bones with the Force, his red blade carving through masters like paper. Mace Windu met him head-on, Vapod channeling Malgus's rage back at him, purple lightning crackling between their blades. Darth Revan moved like a ghost, dual-wielding, red and purple sabers spinning, cutting through both Jedi and Sith who got in his way. "I serve neither side," Revan roared. Obi-Wan faced Darth Maul, the Zabrak, reborn through the Force's will, snarling with renewed fury. "Kenobi!" Maul screamed. "Again, you stand before me!" "And again, I will stop you," Obi-Wan replied, calm, focused, Form 3, perfect. Luke Skywalker stood back-to-back with Yoda defending against waves of Sith apprentices. "There are too many," Luke shouted. "Numbers matter not," Yoda said, his green blade a blur. "The Force, our ally, is." But then he appeared. Darth Nihilus, the Lord of Hunger. He didn't fight with a lightsaber. He drained life. Nihilus raised one hand, and 50 Jedi Masters collapsed. Their life force ripped away in an instant, bodies hitting the ground like puppets with cut strings. The Jedi line faltered. "Fall back," Mace commanded. "Regroup." But the Sith pressed forward, sensing weakness. Darth Sidious unleashed Force lightning across the battlefield, arcing between dozens of Jedi, burning flesh and armor. Bastila Shan countered with battle meditation, her will strengthening every Jedi, coordinating their movements like a symphony. The Sith began to stumble, fighting each other as much as the Jedi. Because Sith never united. Darth Bane killed a Sith apprentice who got in his way. Weakness will not be tolerated. Darth Vader crushed another Sith Lord who challenged him. "I serve no one." And the battlefield Malachor V itself began to break. The ground cracked open, lava erupted, mountains exploded. Reality stretched too thin by the Force started to fracture. And in the chaos, the strongest on both sides realized this wasn't about winning. It was about ending, one way or another. Darth Sidious stood atop a rise commanding, scheming. "Sith Lords, obey me. I am the culmination of your legacy." Darth Bane turned slowly, eyes cold. "You are a pretender. The rule of two was mine. You broke it," Sidious snarled. "I perfected it. By destroying it," Darth Revan added, stepping beside Bane. "You hid. You manipulated. You never earned power through strength." Exar Kun's spirit flames burned brighter. "The ancient Sith do not kneel to politicians." Darth Malgus roared. "Agreement. We are conquerors, not cowards." And the Sith fractured. Sidious unleashed lightning at Bane. Bane absorbed it and struck back. The two Sith Lords dueled while the Jedi watched in shock. "They're fighting each other," Luke said. "Of course they are," Yoda replied. "The dark side always consumes itself." Mace Windu seized the moment. "Jedi, advance!" The Jedi pushed forward, cutting through distracted Sith, coordinating strikes, using unity against chaos. But the Sith were still powerful. Darth Nihilus drained another wave of Jedi 20 Masters, falling silent. Darth Sion, immortal, unkillable, kept rising no matter how many times he was cut down. Breeden Nad's ghost possessed fallen Jedi, turning them against their allies. And Darth Vader, conflicted, torn, faced a choice. Fight the Jedi he once served, or turn on the Sith he'd become. Obi-Wan appeared before him. "Anakin, it's not too late." Vader's breathing rasped. "It's always too late." He raised his red blade, and Obi-Wan raised his blue. Master and apprentice across timelines dueled once more. Meanwhile, Bastila Shan's battle meditation was faltering. Too many minds, too much chaos. Even her legendary skill couldn't hold the Jedi together under this onslaught. "I can't sustain this," she gasped. Satel Shan stepped beside her. "Then we do it, together." The two Shans, separated by generations, joined their power, and the Jedi line held. But barely. Because across the field, Darth Bane had killed Sidious, the Emperor dead, and Bane raised his lightsaber high. "Sith, follow me or die." The surviving Sith Lords, bloodied, battered, obeyed. And the true battle finally began. Yoda stood at the center of the Jedi formation, small, ancient, but radiating absolute authority. "Form ranks, protect the wounded, focus fire on their strongest." Luke Skywalker amplified Yoda's commands through the Force, reaching every Jedi on the battlefield. "We hold the line together. No heroes, no solo charges. Together." The Jedi obeyed. And for a moment, they were winning. Mace Windu cut down 3 Sith Lords in succession, Vapad, unstoppable. Obi-Wan held Vader at bay, Form 3 defense, perfect, patient, unbreakable. Bastila and Satele's combined battle meditation turned the Jedi into a unified force. But then Darth Nihilus stepped forward. The Lord of Hunger. He raised both hands, and the Force screamed. 50 Jedi Masters collapsed, life drained in an instant. Then 100. Then 200. Nihilus was feeding, consuming their life force, growing stronger with every death. "Stop him!" Mace roared. A strike team charged Master Fei, Plo Koon, Kit Fisto, and a dozen others. Nihilus didn't even move. He just pulled. And they fell. All of them. Dead. Luke felt it like a wound in the Force. "We can't fight that. We have to retreat." "Retreat where?" Yoda asked grimly. "No escape, there is." Darth Revan stepped forward alone. "I'll handle Nihilus," he said. Yoda studied him. "Why?" "Because I've walked both paths," Revan replied, "and I know how to kill what cannot die." Revan charged purple and red sabers igniting. Nihilus turned sensing power worth consuming. The two clashed. Revan didn't fight with strength. He fought with balance. Light and dark in perfect harmony confusing Nihilus, disrupting his drain. "You are nothing," Revan said. "Just hunger, and hunger always eats itself." Revan drove both blades through Nihilus's chest. The Lord of Hunger shattered. His mask fell. His body disintegrated. And the battlefield went silent. Both sides stared at Revan, Jedi and Sith alike. "Whose side are you on?" Luke asked. Revan looked at him. "My own." And the battle raged on. But now the strongest were emerging, and the weak were already dead. Mace Windu and Darth Malgus met in the center of the battlefield. Purple against red. Vapad against Sith fury. "You fight with borrowed darkness," Malgus snarled. "I fight with control," Mace replied, and struck. Their blades blurred, mountains shattered, the ground beneath them cracked. Neither gave an inch. Nearby, Obi-Wan circled Darth Maul. "Still clinging to vengeance," Obi-Wan said calmly. "I am vengeance," Maul hissed. They clashed Maul's rage against Obi-Wan's patience. And patience won. Obi-Wan disarmed Maul again and drove his blade through the Zabrak's chest. Maul fell finally at peace. But the most tragic duel was Anakin versus Vader. The Chosen One faced what he would become. Anakin young, hopeful, still light. Vader broken, consumed, lost. "You don't have to be this," Anakin pleaded. "I had no choice," Vader replied. "There's always a choice." They fought blue against red, and Anakin won. He disarmed Vader, blade at his throat. "I'm not you," Anakin whispered. "I'll never be you." Vader's breathing rasped.
Then prove it. Kill me.
Anakin hesitated and lowered his blade. No. I'll save you instead. Vader collapsed, saved by the man he once was. Across the field, Darth Revan faced both armies. You're all fools, he said. Light. Dark. You think they're opposites. They're not. They're halves. Yoda stepped forward. Then which side do you choose? Revan ignited both sabers red and purple. Neither. I choose balance. Luke joined Yoda. Then help us end this. Revan looked at the surviving Sith, then at the surviving Jedi. And he made his choice. I'll fight whoever wins. The battlefield narrowed. Only the strongest remained. Yoda, Luke, Mace, Obi-Wan, Anakin, Bastila, versus Darth Bane, Exar Kun, Darth Sion, Revan, 8 legends, and the Force itself shuddered. Because the final stage had begun, the battlefield stopped, not because anyone commanded it, but because the Force commanded it. Every warrior, Jedi, and Sith alike felt it. A presence, ancient, omnipresent, judging. Yoda fell to his knees. The Force speaks. And it did. Not in words, in feeling. Every warrior saw the same vision. A galaxy in balance, light and dark coexisting, not fighting. Jedi and Sith working together, not to dominate, but to guide. And then the vision shattered. Because balance was impossible. As long as one side believed in absolute dominance, war would never end. Darth Bane understood first. This was never about winning. It was about us. Luke Skywalker nodded slowly. The Force wanted to see if we could choose peace. And we failed, Mace Windu said bitterly. Exar Kun laughed hollow, broken. We were always going to fail. Sith don't compromise. Jedi don't bend. We're designed to destroy each other. The Force pulsed agreement and sorrow, and the battlefield began to collapse. Malachor V, the dead world, started to crumble. It's ending, Obi-Wan said. We have to leave. There is no leaving, Yoda replied. Chosen, we were for this moment. Leave, we cannot. Revan stepped forward. Then we make a choice, right here, right now. He looked at Bane. You created the rule of 2 to make the Sith stronger. Then at Yoda. You led the Jedi for centuries to preserve the light. Revan raised both sabers. What if you're both wrong? What are you saying? Luke asked. I'm saying end it, both of you. The Jedi Code, the Sith Code, all of it. Start over, build something new. The surviving warriors stared. Bane spoke slowly. And if we refuse? The Force answered. The ground beneath them shattered. And only 2 platforms remained. One holding Yoda. One holding Darth Bane. Everyone else fell into the void. Luke screamed, but vanished. Mace, Obi-Wan, Revan, gone. Only 2 remained. The greatest Jedi, the greatest Sith. And the Force whispered, one will speak, one will listen, and the galaxy will be reborn. Yoda and Darth Bane stood on opposite platforms, separated by an endless void. Neither moved. Neither attacked. The Force held them waiting. Why us? Bane asked. Because the oldest. We are. Yoda replied. The wisest. The most honest. Bane's eyes narrowed. You think I'm honest? Created the rule of 2. You did not for power. For survival. Yoda paused. Understood. You did that the Sith. Destroying themselves were. Bane was silent. And the Jedi? He asked. What do they understand? That power without compassion, tyranny becomes, Yoda said. But compassion without strength, weakness is. So we're both flawed. Bane concluded. Yes, Yoda admitted. Always have been. The void between them pulsed. What does the Force want? Bane demanded. Not want, Yoda said gently. The Force is. Light and dark. Creation and destruction. Life and death. All balance. Then why make us fight? To see if learn we could. Bane laughed bitterly. And did we? Yoda looked at the collapsing battlefield, at the bodies, at the fallen legends. No, he admitted, but perhaps the next generation will. Bane studied Yoda carefully. You're saying this was all for nothing? No, Yoda replied. This was a warning. To those who come after, that absolute light or absolute dark, both lead to ruin. The platforms began to fade. Bane spoke one last time. If we meet again, old Jedi, will you fight me? Yoda smiled sad, ancient, wise. If we meet again, Sith, perhaps. Talk instead. We will. Bane nodded. Perhaps. And the Force released them. The battlefield collapsed. Every warrior returned to their timelines alive, but changed. Luke Skywalker woke on Endor, gasping, remembering everything. Anakin woke on Coruscant before his fall, knowing what he could become. Yoda returned to the Clone Wars carrying the weight of what he'd learned. And across every era, every Jedi and Sith who'd fought remembered. The message was clear. Light and dark would always struggle, but balance was the only path to peace. The end.